40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. "40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. "40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. "40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. 40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV, where tonight we have the Area 51 Thursday Truck Oval Series here tonight at Dover Motor Speedway, also known as the Monster Mile. And so drivers putting down their qualifying laps as we speak at this 1 mile facility. And these guys, again, going to be going for 90 scheduled laps for tonight's event. And I was looking at the stats over from the first 3 races, and we've had one of the races go the scheduled distance at at Talladega season opener at 75. Charlotte and Chicagoland have gone into overtime for that green-white checkered attempts, so we'll see if that comes into play tonight here as well. Sounds like an easy 2-stop race tonight. About 30-35 laps is the range I'm hearing. And so again, with this being a 90-lap race, that should be pretty much in the window. But I think the bigger story is going to be tires. And with the tires is going to be getting into pit road, probably the most treacherous pit road, or at least one of the most treacherous pit roads on NASCAR. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to see the drivers try to manage this evening. So far, we've had 3 different winners in the 3 races. We had Charles Johnson, Jack Walls, and Ethan Evers are the 3 winners. Charles Johnson is the points leader going in tonight by 3 over DG Swiss. Ethan Evers is only 5 points out of the lead. And then Dalton Hayes and Bill Rivard are the top 5. All those guys within just, again, 11 points. But again, it's early. So, however, unfortunately, it looks like Charles Johnson not able to make it tonight, having some, I think, lost power at his home. So, unfortunately for him, this might count as one of those drop weeks, which another thing to mention, there are going to be 2 drop weeks over the course of the season. That way, if situations like this, losing power, or maybe you have some prior commitments that you have to do instead of doing some sim racing with your friends, I'd say that way it's a mulligan, if you will, on those races. So that will be one of those things we have to see. And I'm going to see if we can find everybody a good pit entry spot here to show exactly what we are talking about. And so, yeah, actually perfect right on cue, Cole Cannon. And you can see him hitting pit road there. Just trying to get that practice in, just to kind of get a little bit of a feel for it. Because, again, that's going to be the tricky decision, is where do you hit pit road here? Some drivers talking about they might even hit the apron entering turn number 3 just to kind of play it a little extra cautious. However, you legally can pit through 3 and 4. So it's going to be interesting to see what they want to do here, to see how they want to play this out. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing what the strategy is going to be on that one, because yeah, it's gonna be a decision for these guys to have to make. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So you see DG Swiss here. We'll spy on him real quick. Let's see if maybe a pit entry attempt here. Nope, he's just going for it. Actually, I think waiting late to throw down a qualifying lap. We'll see if he has enough time to complete both laps or not. Right now, I think he's putting down the first lap, but I don't think there's going to be time to complete it. So just wasn't able to get that truck on track in time. And yeah, sure enough, time has expired on the session. So unfortunately, won't get a lap in tonight. So we'll see if that comes into play for how this evening goes. So with that, though, it's time to pull up our starting grid for tonight's event. Up front, it's going to be Alec Correa getting pole position. Next to him will be Ethan Evers in that Dodge Ram. And row number 2 will be Bill Rivard there in that 01. And then next to him, Michael Edwards with a very cursed profile picture there. And then you got Cole Cannon in 5th. Dalton Hayes in the 6th position in those Chevrolets there, row 3. Row 4, you got a couple of Rams with Jeremy Scherer and Hayden Davis, 5-Hour Energy, as well as the Cummins Area 51 branding. In the top 10 will be Cliff Mullins and Bob Fitzgerald in their Chevrolet Silverados. Row number 6 will be Jonathan Ledger and Vicente Guerrero there in the number 41 machine. Row 7th will be Jack Walls in the Pennzoil truck, winner earlier this season, and Paul Turner in that number 5 Mopar truck. Row 8, P15, Austin McCarthy in his Travel Wisconsin, and then DG Swiss, we just mentioned earlier, in his Dodge Ram. Robert Rock in the 17th position in the 171. Josh Previtt in the 18th position in his Mopar Ram. And then rounding out the top 20 will be Bud Steele in that number 6 Navy, Dean Wilkinson in that Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar Ford F-150s. And those will be our 20 trucks taking the grid here tonight. Looks like I've got one truck left to finish gridding, and then we'll start our pace lap to get this underway here in just one moment. So yeah, like we mentioned, there it's about 30-35 laps on fuel. Should be a safe 2-stop on fuel. Question is going to be tires, and of course also how do you race this one? Do you try to kind of go aggressive and get track position early, but will that burn those tires up where you don't have the grip in the later end of the race? Or do you try to maybe go a little easy, try to keep the tires in check, and then make the moves later? So those are going to be those decisions that these trucks will have to make here tonight. All right, so as they come through the backstretch, other thing to notice is, of course, that backstretch is very banked. So pretty much they call it a self-cleaning track, because if there's going to be an incident, it's going to find its way down to the bottom of the track 9 times out of 10. So another thing these drivers will definitely have to be careful of. I definitely saw a lot of trucks getting loose out of 2 out of 4, so throttle control going to play a big role in this one as well. But it's going to be fun to see what these guys have in store for us here as they come through 3 and 4. Waiting for it to click over to our starting camera. And there we go. Pace car is in. Alec Correa and Ethan Evers are front row. Green flag is out, and we are underway here tonight at Dover. Someone quick to drop to the apron there. I think that was Jonathan Ledger there. Maybe just opting to try to play it safe early on. And as he saw one catching the ball just a little bit there, I believe that was maybe the 47 of Dalton Hayes. But so far, so good. All looks clean. But it is a dogfight up at the front for lap 1. It's going to go to Ethan Evers. He's going to lead lap number 1, get that bonus point. Able to work that outside around Alec Correa. Bill Rivard holds his 3rd position there in that number 01 truck. And there you go, these trucks starting just to get that little bobble out of 3 and 4, or sorry, out of 2, I should say. And yeah, everybody's starting just to kind of start to just settle in that little bit. As you can see, the field starting to just get pretty singled out here early on. Cole Kennan putting, I'd say, probably some of the most pressure early on here on that number 4 of Michael Edwards. Ethan likes what he's seeing in that Maconi Setup Shop 29 Dodge Ram as he continues to click off the fastest laps of the race. On the fastest lap last time by, I think, 22:85, I apologize. So again, we'll see lap time wise, but again, is he burning his stuff up too quickly, or Alec may be able to make something happen later in the fuel run? It really depends on when and if and when the cautions fall. As we jump a little further back here, got a good little battle here. We've got Austin McCarthy, Josh Previtt there as well, as the 81's going to hold around that number 99 machine. And now he's setting his sights as well on DG Swiss in that number 26. DG's going to slam the door though there on the inside, cut that bottom lane off, and try to see if he can put his sights onto Jack Walls in that 83. Robert Rock going to try to follow along there. He's going to jump around that 99 as well. So again, you're going to have the comers and goers over the course of this race, as I mentioned for DG here. Now he's going to try to look on the inside of Jack Walls. You see Jack there try to get down there, had a little bobble there, and that's going to open the door for him. And then now Josh Previtt's going to try to join right along with him. Right now, these two are trying to gain the most positions at the moment. DG up 4 spots. Josh is up 4 as well, trying to get that 5th spot, as he's actually going to roll topside, catches the wall just a little bit out of 2. Should be no harm, no foul, as these guys continue to move here. But again, I'm going to be fun to see what the long-term pace for some of these trucks is going to be. But again, though, these laps will click off extremely quickly, as I mentioned, in the 23-second bracket here early on. So If these guys stay clean and green, it should be a pretty quick race. It just really depends on how things go. Like I said, we've seen it start off early in the season. These first 3 races definitely has been a lot of clean racing, and then once things start to get a little more aggressive towards the end of the race, that's where we start to see those yellows. As you see here, Vicente is going to try to work over Bob Fitzgerald, see if he can grab a spot into the top 10 in that number 41, and it looks like he should just about get it done here. Just see if he can get it through 3 and 4 and get the momentum you see right there. Maybe drift up just a teeny bit though, but again, a lot of space to race at this track. You don't have to roll a bottom. There's a lot of grooves that we talked about. Diamonding the turn as well as another thing where you kind of interload, drift it up, but maybe about halfway up the track, then start to kind of cut it back down to the bottom. Ooh, saw right there the 47 just kisses the wall or 2. And then trying to get that big apex on the exit. So you'll see a lot of different lines. Some will just want to really hug the inside. Some will try the second lane, see if they can get some good momentum. A lot of ways to race this track, especially as the tires start to wear over the course of that fuel run. Right now, the top 9 have a bit of a breakaway. Cliff Mullins, right now, the last one hanging onto that spot in that 37 truck. And we saw Vince, he's trying to work his way forward up 2 spots. He's worked himself into that top 10, but he's got about a second and a half, as you saw there. Josh Previtt trying to get underneath that 26, got a little loose there on the throttle out of 4. Had to chase it, gather it back up, and going to try to get back after it here once more. But I'm watching this top 5 right now. They're all within a couple tenths of a second of each other. You see the timing scoring. It's a second between 1st and 5th right now. So these guys really mirroring their laps. And it's kind of the same thing there from 6th to about the 9th position there. Same thing. These guys all just a couple of tenths off one another. So everybody's running pretty equal right now. And that's where I want to see that short-term versus long-term pace for these drivers to see if it's just very even or if there's maybe a little bit more to be had here. As I saw the 28 there, I think had a moment. Bud Steele's actually, I think, as well in that 6 truck. These guys battling a little further back in the field. But again, though, it doesn't matter where you are. You're going to have somebody that looks like around you to battle throughout the course of this one. Oh, Robert Rock is all over the back of that 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. Jack Wall's in that mix as well. And here comes the 99 Austin McCarthy. He's starting to make some moves back again here. Again, probably just about halfway through the fuel run, but right now this is a big pack of trucks all on top of each other as things continue on. Up front, still holding about steady, those couple tenths of a second as things run here. Right now, definitely these are the closest battles on track there. Also see that 5 of Paul Turner starting to peek his nose into the mix in his Mopar Ram. And right now you can see the once everyone did get around, now it's going to be the number 99 trying to get around the 08. But again, the hard part on the inside is just getting that throttle down. It is definitely a lot more difficult than it looks. Then the top 3 slight breakaway here, able to break away from the 04 of Michael Edwards. As right now he still sits in 4th, but about a second now back off of Bill Rivard in that 01. So again, we'll kind of see how things go. Now we got a good little battle here right outside that top 5, as you've got Cole Cannon in front of that group, Hayden Davis, Jeremy Scherer, and Cliff Mullins all right on top of each other. Ooh, right on the rear bumper there. Same thing goes here. You got Vicente Guerrero, DG Swiss going after it here. Same right for the top 10 position. Look at Josh Previtt. He is going to try to see which lane is faster and see if he can get him there. And there you go. You can see the truck starting to really drift up through the center of the turn. The grip, I think, as you see, the 81's going to have to chase it all the way down to the apron. Holds on to it, though, and looks like will cost him the spot, but pointing that truck in the right direction, that is a close call as these two continue to have their battle here with Hayden Davis and Jeremy Scherer. Jeremy going to hold on to the spot for the moment, but then you've got, I believe that is going to be Cliff Mullins trying to peek in there as well as they continue on their way here. And again, we're already approaching lap number 20 as this battle now continues to rage with these two. Now it's going to be Josh able to grab that spot, put him up 7 positions, big loose out of 2. He is throwing that thing right now, trying to get everything he can. So I think if there's tires left in that truck, he is going to use all of it before that pit stop. And like I said, about 30 to 35, so another 10 laps or so should be when that window starts to open. But man, that 81 is definitely, he's wheeling that thing right now. Again, up 7 spots. And again, maybe a little quieter, I guess you could say, is DG Swiss in the top 10 now, up 6 spots. I don't think we've seen him kick that truck nearly as sideways as the 81. And then again, another big pack of trucks here It looks like Vicente's starting to fall off just a little bit. Caught the wall there at a 4. He saw the 5 respond to that. The 55 going to try to follow along as well. So yeah, right now not going the right way for Vince. And then up front, these top 3 are starting to get a little tighter on one another. We'll hop on, I say, because right now we got the best view of the lead battle here. Oh, just a little kiss out of 4 there for Bill Rivard, as right now he sits in 3rd, trying to keep an eye on those guys. Now we're going to jump a little further back to Hayden Davis, because look at this gaggle right now. And yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of that 26 truck here. So the 801's going to fight back on the outside, but for running the inside line, DG's looking really solid to me in that 26 truck. Hopefully no commentators curse for him, because I say we've definitely had our fair share of those. But right now he's really been looking really smooth on that inside lane here. Oh, saw in the background there, I think that was once again Josh Previtt having a moment, and that's allowed Robert Rock to get around him. So yeah, I think his truck has been sideways more than anybody here this evening. As you see now, the 19 of Hayden Davis going to try to follow Cole Cannon around and through. And it looks like DG will now grab that position there, moving now up into 8 plus 8 positions for that number 26 truck. So yeah, really good start here so far for DG. Top 3 are still right on top of one another, pretty much just mirroring lap times here with the 3 of them. And also looking at the lap times, we can actually show you what those drivers' lap times are. As we'll pull on their left side, you see the last lap there. It is a 24:35 for Ethan Evers. And so as you start to go down there, you can see Bill Rivard actually was a 24:26. And really, the fastest ones in that group, I think fastest truck on track was that 26 we just mentioned with a 24:24. So again, maybe save the stuff early. Now is really able to make something happen of it later. So, but that said, though, again, probably about 5 laps till the pit window opens. Then it's just, again, wet. Oh, saw one in the background there catch the wall there. I think that was maybe the 99 of Austin McCarthy. I thought I saw a little bit of green there. Can't tell if that right side's got a little bit of a pancake to it or not. But yeah, it looks all right to me from the best I can see. Or it actually may have been also Vicente, as his truck is very green. That truck's looking very tight. You can see he's working all the way up to the track there, trying to bring it down. Just getting some exit speed is crucial with these guys. But we're going to jump back up front now, because we've got a battle for that second spot. And then we've got the 4th place car. He is right back in it there with Michael Edwards in that 4 truck. So right now, Ethan Evers continues to lead. Again, got the lead on the start of the race. Now Bill Rivard working the top side here in Alcrea. Again, talked about the momentum on the top end. If he can keep the momentum and try to stay to the door of that 85 of Alcrea, that's where he's going to need to be able to try to make that fight. But right now, Alec able to keep that, clear the position there, and able to hold on to that second spot. But these guys are fighting really tough. So again, that's going to be the decision here, is maybe try to do a short pit to jump them in the pit cycle, but it puts you at risk of getting trapped a lap or more down under that pit stop cycle. So right now, top 4 back to about a second or so within one another. Got to go about 3 seconds or so now to Dalton Hayes, but he's starting to get his mirrors full of Cliff Mullins. And then we talked about DG Swiss a few times already. He's actually now up into 7th position, missed that previous pass, as that now drops him up another spot. And he's been able to put a second on Jeremy Scherer in that number 15. And then another second or so back to Cole Cannon. We saw him fighting earlier. Jack Wall starting to move a little bit forward too, as leaders now. And here you go. Oh, it was a battle for the lead here. Alec is going to try to get around Ethan. Alec has not led a lap yet so far this race. And also look at Bill here. He's going to see if he can find a way to take advantage of it. I don't think yet. Can't quite clear there. But man, these trucks are starting to get real squirrely now. Is it possible that that 29 here has just started to burn those tires up a little bit, and Alec's able to maintain them a little better? But now Alec will get the lead from the pole position. It took 31 laps, but now he is going to take the point. And here you go. We have a couple gamblers early. Michael Edwards, the first of the leaders on the pit road, going to bring along Jack Walls, Austin McCarthy, Paul Turner. So this is now they're in that danger zone. And here you go. Also, there's the entry we talked about coming in turn number 3, where they're going to run the apron. They can pit in through 3 and 4, but Alec's going to lead the lap. He's going to jump in immediately. Dalton Hayes coming in along with him. So we've definitely got some mixed strategies right now on pitting early, pitting late. So This is now where you're sweating bullets if you're that early pit stop driver. I'm always one that likes to run it long just in case there's a caution during the cycle. I'm always very paranoid about it. And oh, here's a tough situation here. Ethan Evers trying to pit there, and I think that was the 28 of Jonathan Ledger. I think maybe had to come back in potentially. So that's now Ethan's on pit road here as well. That's going to allow Bill Rivard now to get a lap led. And so we've got about the top 10 or so yet to make their pit stop. But you can see right now Bill's got just pretty much cleared track around him here. So he can kind of choose. And this actually makes it a nice, less stressful entry. You can see he waits a little longer. Now gets a woe down there and able to get down. That looked like a nice, clean entry for that 0-1. I think got a lot of time in there. And now pretty much that's going to be the field. It's going to be Josh Previtt. Nope, he's going to jump in as well. Dean Wilkinson in. So this will be the field. Everybody able to get to that first pit cycle. Now it's going to be to see where do they cycle out around one another. Again, Michael Edwards was the first of those to pit. He kind of took that early pit stop gamble along with Jack Walls. So we need to see where he's going to cycle out. He does right there. You saw him. He's jumped around Ethan Evers. Alec Correa is going to actually jump around Ethan as well. And so right now, net gain is going to be that 4 truck. But actually, he's on pit road. Did he have an unsafe exit potentially? As he's going to jump back on pit road. So it's a heartbreaker because I think he had the strategy there. So now we watch for Bill Rivard as he leaves pit road. There goes Alec Correa. That is the lead of the race now, going to that 85. And he's going to have the lead by a couple of seconds right now. And when he pitted there, he's looking pretty good. He was on lap 32. Next in line is going to be Ethan Evers, pitted on lap 33. And then Bill Rivard there on lap 34. So all these guys cycle just about 1 lap apart from one another. So we'll see if that's enough to make a difference. But yeah, the one that's a heartbreaker for Michael Edwards there, just for, again, possibly an unsafe pit exit in the 04 truck. Very, very easy to do. I'll see if I can maybe, it's hard to catch these sometimes, but if I can catch when he left his pit stall. Okay, so this is him entering the pits. We want to go exiting the pits here. I think this is, we're not going to, I apologize to Michael, but I say he's going to roll back out, but you can see he is going to be now multiple laps down. Same thing for Dalton Hayes and Cole Cannon. And I can tell you it was, about a 40-second hold for Michael. And I think similar situations for Dalton and Cole Cannon. So, so right now Alex got the lead here in the 85. However, Ethan Evers, he's slowly but surely starting to creep back into that 1 second margin here. So he's been gaining on that 85 truck. But again, though, is this maybe pushing hard to get back to him? And then we saw that the 85 did appear to have some really good long run pace in that number 85 Budweiser truck there. So we'll keep an eye on that. But what we can do is we'll run through our field now and show off our drivers after that first pit stop cycle. And we will kick it off with Alec Correa in that number 85 truck as he started in on pole and is currently running in first. Second place right there is Ethan Evers. Same thing, started second, running in second. Bill Rivard here, same situation. Third time around, started third, running in third again. All those drivers are off by about 1 lap on their pit stops. Lap 32, lap 33, lap 34. Then we get to DG Swiss here in the 4th position. He's a couple seconds back, but again, though, he's now plus 12. Really great job through the pit stop cycle and under green to be gaining all these spots. And again, might need a caution to get back into the thick of it, but right now, though, he has done a great job so far in this running. Again, still a long ways to go, not quite at halfway in this one. And then we jump over to Cliff Mullins there. He is up 4 in that number 37 truck as he sits 4 positions forward. The 15 of Jeremy Scherer in P6 in that 5-hour Energy Ram. Then we get back to Austin McCarthy. Talk about him maybe saving it early, and now he's up to P7, up 8 positions. So Austin definitely starting to find his pace in that number 99 truck. We jump to Hayden Davis, started 8th, currently in 8th in his number 19 Ram. Then we start to get to a couple big climbers. Robert Rock up 8 positions into P9 in his number 171 Chevy. Josh Previtt, we saw that truck pretty much never point in a straight direction. He's always been getting loose out of 2 and 4, but he's been hanging on to it. He's also up 8 spots into that top 10 in his 81 Ram. Then you get to Jack Walls in the 11th position, up 2 spots in the 83. Paul Turner also up 2 spots in that number 5 Mopar Ram. Vicente Guerrero is in the 13th position, -1 from where he started. Then we get to Dean Wilkinson right on the rear bumper in his Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Sorry, I'm going to get a lawsuit against me if I say the wrong one there. He sits in 14th, up 6 spots. And right now, Bob Fitzgerald is the last truck on the lead lap, and it might be for a very brief moment because Alec is looking underneath. And yeah, there you go. Bob now actually the first truck, 1 down. Then we get to Bud Steele now, who is now the second truck, 1 down in that number 6. Up 3 spots, though. And then Jonathan Ledger in the 28 truck. We saw him drop to the apron early on the start, I think just letting the field go. And right now he sits in 17th. And then we get some of those pit penalties, unfortunately, including this guy right here in the 4 truck. Actually looks like he's going to drop down to the apron entering turn 3. Dalton Hayes in the 47. And then Cole Cannon in that 801. So those are the trucks on track. The 04 is on pit road as we speak. Now we go back to the front because here you go. We got the leaders right pretty much back to each other here. 85 leading the 29. And then right in striking distance is that 01 of Bill Rivard. And again, they're all cycled off by about 1 lap on one another. So Alec pitted on lap 32, Ethan on 33, Bill on 34. So and lap time wise, it's kind of reflecting it. It's Bill's just a little faster than the 2 of them in front of him, so he's slowly but surely kind of creeping back into the picture here. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Does that make a difference on your strategy? Does maybe say Bill decide, hey, you know what, that 2 laps was too many. I need to do something different and come in a little sooner, or maybe, hey, I'm gonna try to undercut these guys and get that short-term gain and see if I can then kind of manage my tires in the long run. So it'll be fun to see. And yeah, no, there's no GMS Hondo Longmire. We would love to see him back out on track, but so I heard he's a very busy and popular man with all sorts of people reaching out to use him for his services. But appreciate you popping in, sir. Always a pleasure to see you over here, and always a pleasure to share the track with you as well. Now we jump back to just in the top 10. As Jack Walls, Robert Rock, they are having a nice little scrap here for that top 10 position. Jack has it at the moment. I think Robert is going to try to find a way to get it here. But right now, Jack's going to continue to hang on to that spot in that number 83. And then a little further back, Dean Wilkinson, he is starting to try to creep up on Paul Turner in that number 5. And again, Dean right now up 7, looking to try to get to that into that 12th position, gain another spot to get him up 8 positions. And he's going to roll the top side very nicely there. And that's, I think, a tire difference because that was lap 31 for Paul Turner, 34 for Dean Wilkinson. So it sounds like a very small amount, but those couple of laps will mean a very big difference here at this 1 mile concrete oval. So right now, a great job by all these drivers. And again, they've already got a pit stop cycle done under the books. And so they're starting to think about it now because we're less than 10 laps away from that window being open for that final stop. I saw one spin around. That's Bill Rivard. That is going to be our first caution of the evening. We'll go back and see what exactly happened, but I think he's going to be fine. And it's just going to be obviously a big scare. I mean, he's going to even hold that 3rd position there. So yeah, a bit of a moment for him. We'll go back and we'll try to check out what happened to bring out this yellow. Actually, I think it may involve Cole Cannon. Yeah, there you go. Here's your answer. There's Cole Cannon. That truck definitely has seen a better time. So, unfortunately, his night's going to go from bad to worse after being up front early. As you can see, Alec Correa is going to wait and get lined up for that pace car. So, let's go back here and take a look at the time of the yellow. And you can already see Bill here looking underneath that 801. And so, it gets into the left rear there. Not sure if it's a misjudge or what there, but you can see he quick on the brakes there, and say this is what we saw at that point. But yeah, the 801 though, heavy contact to the wall, and so yeah, so this is gonna be very interesting on the pit window. Potentially might have to see some guys do a little bit of fuel saving. So we're gonna jump back live here as Alec is going to lead the field onto pit road for what could be their final stop, potentially also their final scheduled stop. So now these guys got to make sure they get into their pit stalls, get nice and clean through everything. Again, Alex got that number 1 pit stall, so that's definitely a big benefit for him. Shouldn't see any strategy here. I think we're going to see 4 tires and fuel for every single driver. And right now, I'll say Ethan looked a little quicker on the jacks, and it's going to be close, but it is going to be, I think, Alec there. As long as nobody's sped, he should hold on to that lead, but he's letting the field by. I think somebody got busted speeding on pit road. That is a heartbreaker for that 85 truck. So that is going to move Ethan now up to the point, and then Bill Rivard now up into the 2nd spot. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe our first truck one down to get his lap back is going to be Bob Fitzgerald here, as he's got to let the field by here because he wants to get on pit road. So here he comes. He's going to jump in and get his free service in that 08 truck. And yeah, this is going to kind of, again, we talked about it. These races, they've definitely gone clean and green early, and then now we're already just about to the two-thirds mark, I apologize, of the race here. So this is where people are going to have to start getting a little more aggressive. I see a couple drivers topping off here. We talked about that fuel potential. Dean Wilkinson, Paul Turner, they said, hey, let's get that little bit of a splash. And so lights are already off on the pace car, so everybody's getting themselves lined right back up here. We're going to restart this thing with 34 laps to go. So it's going to be tight. It'll be interesting to see. Also looking on the strategy side of things to see if anybody opted to go ahead and take a wave round to maybe get their lap back, but of course would have to pit pretty quickly afterwards. And I think Dalton Hayes did do so in that 47. I think he was 3 down and stayed out to get himself back to 2 down. And due to mention that, unfortunately, it looks like Michael Edwards in the 04 has indeed retired from the event, which is unfortunate. He was having a really good run there. I think just unfortunately, instead, I think a pit road miscue may have done him in for tonight. So that said, though, now we've got a trio of Rams in the front rows there, front row and in 3rd position. And it's going to be the 44 of Cliff Mullins there on the outside lane. As again, control truck is going to be Ethan. He is down and away, gets a great jump here. And he is going to have some nice breathing room as they head back into turn number 1. Again, we are now down to 34 laps to go. Just saw Bud Steele leaving pit road. Unfortunately, I say that obviously going to put him down an extra lap here. So now this is going to be interesting. Again, now it's going to be, what do you do pace-wise? Are you going for broke here, try to run away with this? Or do you need to make sure you're still hitting a fuel number? We saw everybody pitted from about 30 to 33 laps or so. And so I feel like it's definitely doable. There might need to be a little bit of fuel save, but I think this number can definitely happen over the course of this race. But like I said, these guys are going to start to get antsy. They're going to start to get aggressive here. But right now, though, Ethan Evers just an amazing start to that race, the restart here to this race to get that about 7, 8 tenths second gap there. Big wiggle by Cliff Mullins. He's still trying to catch that truck. That's allowed Josh Previtt to get by. You can see that 15, Jeremy Scherer trying to get underneath him, couldn't quite do it. He's going to have to hold station for the moment. But yeah, that was a big moment there for those guys. And oh, we got actually one on pit road. DG Swiss on pit road. I wonder if he got a penalty in that 26 for the restart potentially. I didn't see anything wrong because I believe he was restarted on the inside line, and it shouldn't matter if he got past the 01 truck because Bill was on the outside lane. So I'm not sure on that one, unfortunately, for the 26 truck, but it might just be unfortunately some really bad luck and unfortunately kind of at the mercy of iRacing timing and scoring. So 28 truck has had an issue. We stay green for the moment. I don't think we're going to stay green though. So you can see that he's pointed forward. We'll see if the pace difference of the leaders go on by. We will stay green there. So Jonathan had an issue here. We'll go back. We'll take a look at it. As you can see, yeah, just loose, and just couldn't grab him. There's that banking we talked about. Just pulled him back into the inside wall. And so unfortunately, that is what brought that yellow out. And then, yeah, throttles up and just no traction still on that truck. So we do stay green. It is still Ethan Evers leading the way. He's stretched out to about a second now over the 01 truck. And I can tell you the 26 is back out on track. So it was about a 30-second stop. So I believe that's probably a stop and hold. But again, though, don't know what that was for him. Usually I could see it on the front row, but not sure about row number 2. And so he's going to be in between a rock and a hard place here, because he's going to want to try to fight this position, because right now he's 3 down. If he can get back to 2 down, I believe right now that is actually the only trucks are 2 down that are lap down or more, and that's himself and Dalton Hayes. So, and right now Dalton is, where is he sitting on track at the moment? He's coming out of turn number 2 now. So yeah, so it's, if DG can get the spot, I think it's worthwhile to try to get that second lap, to instead of being 3 down, be 2 down. So it'll be interesting, that risk versus reward for I would say not really for him, but really for Ethan, is how hard does he want to fight that 26 truck, because you don't want to give up the spot, obviously, and lose track position to that 0-1 behind him. But the question has already been answered. He's gone. So, and I think that's the right call for DG. Is you just got to push right now, get back to 2 down, and just see how things shake out. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Jeremy Scher right now having a good battle with that number, the number 85, Alec Correa. Alec, again, he got the penalty on pit exit, probably a speeding, I would guess, on exit. Pretty much had to let the field by. He was just full focus, I think, on Ethan Evers trying to win that race off of pit road. Just got a little too greedy with the throttle there on the pit exit speed line. That said, though, he's already worked his way up into the top 5. So, I mean, a really good recovery drive for him so far. He's still got a little ways to go. Still got some time, 24 laps to go in this race, and he is within 3 seconds. Now the question is just how much he's been burning those tires off, and of course, how quick can he get around some of these other trucks? The first of which is going to be Cliff Mullins. Now is the next on his list to try to get through. So, and of course, as you get further forward, these trucks are only going to get tougher to pass. So we'll hop on here with that. Oh, well, it's really hard to pass when you don't know where the truck is, as he's going to peek underneath. Is he going to get an opening? He tried to see if he could show a nose there. 44 opened it up just for a split second, but then you can see it wasn't enough. That's going to hurt the momentum. He's going to have to regroup and try to get back after it here in that 85. And again, though, you can see the 44 kind of runs middle, and then you can see there's that arc down I talked about. You can see now how much the 85 kind of washed out through 1 and 2. So those are those things these drivers are going to be having to kind of keep an eye on, is just kind of really nailing the entries and the exits. And to me, getting the exit here at Dover is definitely the crucial one. You also got Austin McCarthy, Jeremy Scher. They're now battling as well, just outside that top 5. In the top 10 battle here, you've got the 83 of Jack Wallace, the 5 of Paul Turner. A little further. Actually, no, we're going to go back. Ethan Evers. Is this scheduled stop? I think he could have made it. Let's go back here. I want to see if anything happened that I'm missing. I think he just said, you know what, I'm going to take this pit stop now. Maybe he decided to split it evenly. So this is really unfolding here. So we'll keep an eye. Yeah, Ethan Evers, he's already down and away. So 14-second stop. So that's just 4 tires and fuel, and he's gone. This is going to be interesting now. Is he going for just, again, was he maybe too aggressive and said, I just don't have the fuel? But right now, I mean, you can see how hard Bill and Josh are running too. And I got to say, shout out to Josh. Again, we saw that truck was pointed every which way, and he is still running this thing. He was able to manhandle that truck and done a great job, and now keeping at it. Austin McCarthy on pit road, Dalton Hayes on pit road as well. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued by what's going on right here. I have to say, I did not see this coming. Also, you see the 29 now rolling out of pit road of Ethan Evers. That is actually him being 2 down. So I talked again how crucial it is. He's got to get by these guys, use those fresh tires. He wants to get back to 1 down. He's going to send it underneath Josh Previtt there. He's going to grab that spot. Now he's got to get Bill Rivard, I would say probably ideally right here through 3 and 4. He's already going to show his nose saying, hey, I'm going, just FYI. And yeah, so there he goes. He's going to get that lap back. So right now he sits actually the only truck 1 lap down at the moment. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Again, I still think there's going to be somebody that's going to try to pull some fuel saving off to not have to pit here. As we're down to 16 to go. So we'll have to keep an eye on these two, Josh Previtt, Bill Rivard, see what they've got going on. Alec Correa, he's gained a ton of spots. Has he burned too much fuel doing so? Or is he going to say, hey, I actually got some good pace here. I'm going to jump back it down here. Here comes Josh Previtt. He's on pit road as well. So, and then the other thing to mention, 2 tires, 4 tires. So far, we've seen 4 tires say, hey, I just need to splash the fuel. Do I save the time and try just 2 tires and just put a little bit of fuel to make it to the end? So there's a lot of decisions that are going to have to be made here. And I'm really intrigued to see what's going to be the calls from these guys, as they got a great battle here with Jeremy Scherer and Hayden Davis. Right now, they are fighting in that top 5 between the two of them. Right now, it is Hayden just that nosehead will clear him entering 1. So again, we continue our way through, but I think our race winner could be coming from a spot we don't expect to see, because I think if they're able to kind of sip that fuel, that could be where it comes into play in this race. So, and one driver I know is very good on fuel is this 83 of Jack Walls. I'll have to watch where he kind of comes out in all of this if we stay green, of course, as we're down to it now, 13 to go here. It'll be 12 at the line. And you can see right now, Bill's been able to kind of get a little bit of a gap right now. He's got a lot of pressure from Cole Kennan. Alec Cray, he's worked himself all the way up back to 2nd. Cliff Mullins right on his rear tailgate there for the 3rd spot. And then again, right now you see that 99, same thing. He's trying to get some of those laps back. He's got the fresher tires. You can see the pace difference. I mean, that's no questioning that these fresh tires are faster. It's just, does it offset the pace difference enough? As now you got Jack Walls getting around Jeremy Scherer there. Move Jack up now into that top 5. Some of these trucks are definitely starting to struggle a little bit, looks like, for grip as well. And I'm watching lap times here. The leaders all are in the low 24s, about 24, 22, 24, 30, 24, 32. Hayden Davis around 24.77. Is he backing his pace down a ton? And then we get to those guys that pitted, and we got Ethan Evers 23.19. So he's over a second a lap quicker. And right now, as I said, here comes Alec Correa. So we talked about the fuel mileage for him. Answer is going to be no. He's in with 10 to go. Also looking at pit stop times, there was a 2-tire stop. That's Dean Wilkinson. Ooh, Bud Steele just had a moment there. Dean tried 2 tires in his truck. So we'll see how that comes to fruition. And so here comes Bill Rivardi. See, I think Bill's maybe backing that pace down the L1 truck, and I think he can do this. I think if he can have the fuel to do it, he's got enough margin over Ethan Evers. Because again, Ethan is still 1 lap down here. And right now, Ethan is sitting, where is he on track right now? He's at the start-finish line. Bill right now is through 1 and 2, or 3 and 4. So he's got over half a lap lead. So yeah, if I'm any of these guys in this top 5 or so, you're saving fuel. You're just saving every drop you can. The problem and the danger right now as well is we have a huge range of speed right now. We've got guys on old tires. We've got guys on new tires. We've got guys on 2 tires. And so right now, just the overall just pace of all these trucks here is going to be all over the place. You can see Jack Walls, he's been chasing Hayden Davis back down. Again, is Hayden fuel saving? Is Jack thinking, hey, I've got enough to make it to the end? Because again, these are 22-second laps, well, 24 seconds laps now with the tires falling off, and maybe some fuel saving as you see Bill there drifted out of turn 2. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting. Every time I keep thinking Bill's about to hit pit road, but I think he's just doing a really good job of just managing that truck here. Well, actually, let's hop on board. Let's try to spy and listen here and see if we can see anything and hear anything obvious to tell us some telltale. I'd be looking at the revs, but unfortunately, I say our camera position is not perfect for that. But I think he's clutching it. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on him. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking at lap times. I mean, Bill's still running great lap times, 24:38. Cliff Mullins was a 24:69. So he was 0.3 of a second quicker than Cliff. Jack Walls has gotten around Hayden Davis, but I'm telling you, though, there are so many trucks that are just so squirrely right now. And so, again, like I mentioned, too, some of the tire strategies. I do need to mention, I mean, Dean Wilkinson, like I said, oh, no, I'm sorry, Dean pit on lap 55, so he didn't do 2 tires. I think he was one of those ones that topped off. So I think Dean's going fuel save in that 55 truck as well. So right now, the furthest up of those that did pit is still Ethan Evers, but he's back in that 9th position. So, and you can also see, again, he's also still the first truck 1 down. And so that's the next fear, is if Bob Fitzgerald in the 08 truck right here, if he gets lapped, that is going to wind up putting him now the second truck down. So he wants this thing to have a chance at this. But man, again, these laps are clicking fast right now, and we're coming to it here. Next time by is going to be 2 laps to go. Does Bill Rivard at this point, if he's staying out, you know he's made his bed. Can he hold on to this? Can he save the fuel? He's right now, he's saying, hey, if he has the fuel, he's saying, hey, do not bring out a yellow. I need this thing to go to the end. I don't want to have a late race green, white, checkered restart. So right now he just wants to get through 3 and 4 clean. He's watching that truck behind him. He says, yeah, I see you, but let me just get to this white flag, and then I will gladly get out of your ways. He's going to drift it out of 4 as he's going to take the white flag. So now it's just, does he have the fuel in the tank to make it through the last lap here at Dover? And it could be Bill Rivard getting a win in that lovely number 01 Hardy's truck, and he's through 3 already. So this is looking pretty good for Bill Rivard as he comes out through turn number 4. It is going to be Bill Rivard getting the fuel, getting the win here tonight at Dover, doing some wiggles to celebrate there. A little bit of trouble in the back there, but it looks like Cliff is going to hold on to that runner-up spot. Jack Wall is going to bring it home in 3rd. Hayden Davis and Vicente Guerrero going to bring top 5s for them. And then we talked about the fuel saving, same thing for Paul Turner. He's just going to bring that thing home in the 6th position. Bob Fitzgerald's going to bring it 7th. Look at Dean Wilkinson. He's out of fuel. He's limping that thing to the finish. He will still grab the 8th position. And unfortunately, the heartbreak is going to be that guy right there, Ethan Evers and Alec Correa, the 2 of them. Because, again, they had the pace. Alec had the pit penalty, but unfortunately just didn't have the fuel mileage. But it's going to be, and just to poke some fuel in the fire too. It's like, hey, I had fuel for burnouts too. I don't know what you guys had going on there, but what a job though for that 01 truck to kind of, again, had great pace. Also then when it mattered, had the great fuel mileage. Just really great job by him tonight in that 01 truck. You can see Cliff Mullen's going to head over there to celebrate with him. Just, yeah, really good run for those guys. And don't tell me he's got more fuel in that 01 truck. I think maybe he actually ran out now. All right, with that, we are going to pull up our final results. Oh, he does have more fuel in that truck. Man, these guys, I tell you, I don't know how they do it. We're going to pull up those final results, though, as it is going to be Bill Rivard getting the win over Cliff Mullins. Jack Walls are podium finishers. And then you got Hayden Davis, Vicente Guerrero in the top 5. Paul Turner, Bob Fitzgerald, Dean Wilkinson's lead lap finishers. They're able to just have enough fuel there to the end. And then, like I mentioned, then just the fuel mileage wasn't there for some of those guys like Ethan Evers, unfortunately, Alec Correa. They had the pace. They just did not have the fuel at the end. And then you got outside the top 10, you have Josh Previtt, Austin McCarthy, Robert Rock, DG Swiss, Dalton Hayes, Jonathan Ledger, Bud Steele, and Cole Cannon. And unfortunately, a couple more drivers there, just not the nights they're hoping for. Jeremy Scher there in the 15, and then Michael Edwards, you mentioned, the 15 and the 04 there with those early retirements in this race tonight. So we'll pull up those podium positions once more, as it is going to be Bill Rivard in that 01 getting the win. Cliff Mullins bringing it home in 2nd, and then Jack Wall is going to be our 3rd place driver here tonight. And so we got to hunt some fellers down, and we're going to start with a Jack Walls, get our 3rd place finisher up and over. So let's go ahead and get that lovely 83 truck. Now we can show it off as always. All right, we're going to grab Jack Walls in here. So Jack up 10 spots from 13th to 3rd. I questioned that final restart there. I was like, this is going to be close on the fuel mileage side of things. And then as the race was progressing, as the run was going, I'm watching some guys pit, and then I'm watching you stay out. And I made the comment, there's somebody I know who's usually pretty good about fuel saving, and you were the one I was pointing at, and so you didn't let me down on that one, Jack. You're able to get back up to 3rd to get that podium tonight. When that caution came out, were you pretty much telling yourself immediately, like, yep, I know what I'm doing on this run?
Yeah, absolutely. That came at a perfect time, and And I knew the guys who were ahead of me were going to try and maybe race a little bit harder and have to pit before the end. And I don't know how many did, but it worked out. I was just watching my fuel, taking it easy every lap around. I just had enough. I ran out on the backstretch after passing this finish line.
Was that one where did you start to save early and then kind of start to maybe try to push harder that way, maybe when everybody else is doing the opposite? Or I mean, how did you manage your fuel there? Because obviously the pace slows down over the course of the run with the tires, but there's always kind of those trains of thought where it's like, all right, I'm going to push now and then save. Or, I mean, how did you kind of make that mindset of the way to go with it?
Now, I just did easy laps from the get-go after that restart, letting off the throttle before the corners and then going about half throttle through the corners and then full throttle coming out. And I did that for 34 laps, 33 laps, whatever it was. Just ran the same laps for the whole run.
I mean, you played to perfection. Like I said, when I saw what was playing out, I was like, okay, someone's gonna try it. And like I said, I've known you long enough. I know you're. I feel like you've got extra fuel line in that truck hiding somewhere or something. But I mean, yeah, it was a great job tonight to grab a couple extra spots there at the end. I mean, you were definitely battling within the top 10 all night long, but it was, yeah, like I said, great strategy, and you were able to make it work there at the end to get that podium, sir. So big congrats to you, and definitely got to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that result tonight.
Yeah, I want to thank all the drivers tonight. Very clean race. The race was a great race to do, and I thank all the drivers for the way they raced tonight. Very good race.
All right, sir. Well, I will let you go enjoy this one. Well, actually, no. I got to talk to you a little bit pre-race too. So I also heard this is home track for you. So does this one make it even more fun to get a podium?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to finish in the top 3 at your home track. I'll take that any day.
All right, well, great job tonight, Jack. It was a great result for you, and also really good for you in the points as well. We'll have to see where that jumps you up as well. So go enjoy this one though, and look forward to seeing you on track soon.
Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good night.
All right, that is Jack Walls in that number 83. We're gonna jump to one spot forward. That's gonna be Cliff Mullins, and he told me right now, he's like, hey, double check my paint scheme. So we're gonna try something here real fast. Let's see if we can do the old paint scheme switcheroo. So we'll see if we like this 44 paint scheme better, or if we're going to like it better when it switches to the 37. But Cliff up 7 spots, getting the P2 spot tonight. I say we talked to Jack, asked him about the fuel mileage. He was pretty much on from the get-go, said, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. I have the fuel numbers to make it. Were you in the same mindset on that one, or did you kind of push hard and then say, wait a second, I can do something here?
No, I kind of saw with the fuel miles that I was getting, I kind of thought that it was going to be pretty close to getting there. And when I saw Bill and the 81 and 29 and all of them just take off on me, I was like, oh, I think they didn't know that. I was like, man, I'm really hoping that I might get the jump on them here. I saved right there on that whole run, right straight from the restart. So I thought I was going to be able to, but it's Bill's specialty, man. He's got so many fuel mileage race wins. For him to be able to keep the speed up the way that he does, and to still have enough right there at the end to still make it to the end. I was coming second to him in a fuel miles race. I'll take it. I was hoping I could get a win, but second place to him isn't too bad.
I mean, yeah, it's a really good result, and we're watching. It's like, well, he made it to the end, and then it's like he's rubbed salt in the wound and still has fuel for burnouts too. So I mean, that's one of those ones. Like, okay, man, you did the first part. You don't need to rub it in there. But I mean, like I said, a great run for you. I mean, you were in that top 5 battle for pretty much. I want to say the entire race there. So obviously, with the reduced fuel load on these trucks, I mean, how tight was it for you setup wise? I know a lot of times when you reduce fuel, actually, we're watching you have a little bit of a moment there out of 4 coming to the checkered. So yeah. I don't know if that was you being really low on fuel there. Great save though.
It stumbled.
But yeah, I mean, so how did the truck itself feel for you over the course of that run? Did it feel more tight than what you're kind of used to with the full tank on these things? Because I know that'll obviously change the balance a lot.
Yeah, it was. I mean, to me, it's typical Dover, man. I mean, every time I race here, the right front always gets hot on this thing, and it just becomes a plow box coming off the corner. So I'm used to running shorter fuel loads in some of these races, especially with fixed setups and stuff. And I know what it was going to do, and with it being Dover's not really one of the tracks that I'm normally good at. More of a short track guy than I am a intermediate or a mile track like this thing. But I mean, it felt good for about 5 laps, and then as soon as I would kind of notice that the tire difference of the guys that just fired straight off and versus me who was kind of taking it easy the first 5 laps. As soon as I could see that transition happening, you'd run right up on somebody, and then you'd get aero tight behind them. So you're just constantly fighting tight, and I tried moving up a groove, seeing if that would help. I felt like that burnt my right front more, so kind of just only did it on entry just to get it to where I could angle that thing and get the straightest exit that I could possible.
Well, I mean, so you definitely, I mean, obviously we said, so we saw you up front for a good chunk of that race. Obviously the pit stops are always the concerning thing too. And I mean, so then you start to get to those closing laps, and obviously you're on the good end of things with, you've got the track position. So if a yellow comes out, you're like, okay, well, I know we've got so many guys trapped a lap down. So is that one where you're feeling good either way? Or are you thinking, man, I want this thing to go green to the end so I don't have to worry about those restarts?
I think if it would have been anyone else in front of me but Bill, I would have been like, yeah, absolutely go green. But knowing Bill and how good he is at fuel saving, I knew I was behind the 8 ball, and like he already had a little bit of a lead on me, and on top of that, he was going to be able to save enough fuel to make it. But I mean, if I could have got a caution right there at the end and threw 4 tires on this thing, I think it could have. It would have been a real fun race right there at the end with me and him. I felt like me and him were pretty even. He's a little bit better on strategies than I am. I just got lucky with it this time and noticed it before everybody else did.
Well, I mean, that's you got to be on top of your game on that one. I mean, I know you got a great team with you as well. So, is that one of those things you kind of keep some stuff in your back pocket to be able to try to one up them? Or are you guys pretty open books with one another on the as the race goes on?
Oh no, I didn't say a word to anybody in there. Bill figured it out about 6 or 7 laps into the run, and Ethan actually probably could have saved enough if he would have actually done it, but Ethan's also he's a hard nosed guy that just he goes from the drop of the flag. So he didn't think he could make it. So he pit. And then I noticed that the 85 had a speeding penalty. He drove all the way up through the field and passed me. I realized I know he can't make it. The 81 blew my doors off. I knew he won't go make it. So it come down to where it was just me and Bill, and I was like, I'm really hoping that Bill doesn't realize he can make it, but he did eventually, and I was like, well, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, there's always somebody that ruins the party. I've been there myself on that one. I feel like fuel mileage is usually my few ways of winning, but again, I mean, just an awesome job tonight. And we got the updated paint scheme. It's looking really nice too. So I'm not sure which one I like more. I am kind of leaning towards, I think I like this red with the chrome numbers on it and everything like that. So good looking paint scheme. And I said, we're going to transition to that because you've got some sponsors and everything on there. So definitely want to give you some love and for any thanks and shouts for that runner up tonight, sir.
Yeah, got to thank Adam Crozier and AC Racing Graphics for doing these paints for me. The 44 one is actually a new paint for me, so I run that usually in my other leagues. But this one's actually it's a classic for me. It's an old one, and we got Curly's Guns on there. We got Spit and Venom Podcast, Midnight Performance, Pinnacle Trailer Sales, Low Drag Esports. All the guys at C2X, all my teammates, the guys in Swiss Army that come over here run this thing with us, make it a lot of fun. I'm having a blast running these things, man. It's just no pressure. Just go out there and, they give us all the tires that we want, so I take them every chance I can. I think you guys are putting this thing on. All the admins over here putting this thing together. You guys are broadcasting, and my wife Alicia, my kids Jaron and Emily, they're my biggest fans and love watching me do this stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always love when the family can be a part of it too. So say if I don't know if your kids are allowed to be on the YouTube yet, but say if they ever want to chime in and say, hey, where's dad? Tell them don't be shy. So, but no, great job tonight, man. Like I said, we'll figure out something to get Bill down a spot for you next time. But again, great result tonight though.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, that is our runner-up in the 37. So now we got one spot forward to jump to. Our race winner is this guy right here, that 01 of Bill Rivard. Bill, it took you 4 races, and you've already hit all 3 steps of the podium. I know this is the one you wanted, and I talked to Cliff, and it sounds like he was hoping that you weren't seeing that fuel number because it sounds like you're kind of good at the fuel saving and going fast at the same time thing, which is pretty much what everybody doesn't want to see from their competition.
First of all, I just want to tell Cliff to get out of my winner circle. He spent way too much time in here. But no, yeah, I didn't even really put together the fuel mileage stuff until probably I want to say 10 laps into that run. And then I started saving. So it was pretty tight for me. If I had been trying to save from the start, it would have been a lot better. But yeah, it's kind of what I do. I love to fuel save. I think I was going to do it last week, but then we got a caution that kind of screwed all that up. So yeah.
I'd be afraid to know what fuel saving when like ahead of time knowing what you could do then, just because of the fact that you still had I was mentioning to Cliff's like just salt in the wound. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, I have fuel for burnouts too. So yeah, I'd be afraid to know what you could do when you're really going full fuel strategy. I did try spying on you a little bit. We're hopping on board, I'll say, but it was positioned just the way we couldn't quite see the tack perfectly. So I don't know if you're allowed to give away your secrets, but was there maybe a little bit of a clutch pedal involved in kind of sipping a little less fuel there?
Oh yeah, in your normal let off periods, it's just full clutch. So I mean, if you're running the hard here and not saving any tire, you're obviously not letting off much. But if you're trying to save a little bit of tire, you let off going and dropping into 1 and 3. So I clutch at my normal times. At least for a run like this where we were only like 2-3 laps short. So, it wasn't that crazy of fuel saving. I've had other ones where, you're clutching halfway down the straightaway to try and get it, but this one wasn't too bad. Always clutch, always.
Yeah, I'm definitely a clutcher as well for that situation. I've seen guys actually shut the ignition off. That's too many buttons and knobs for me to be playing with.
Yeah, I'm not doing all that. I don't think you need to do that for another 0.2 worth of fuel. I think I'm good with just hitting the clutch.
Yeah, no disagreement on my side there. So and you could probably really speak to this because obviously when you're really hustling it in there, then you're driving in, you're using a ton of brake, and so I mean, then that obviously when you change so abruptly to then okay, hey wait, I got to clutch this thing in and really start to sip fuel. I mean, obviously that's going to really change the way the balance of the truck feels. Where if you're obviously too late on the clutch, you're going to enter way too hot, burn the right front up because you're putting too much wheel in it. I mean, is that one of those things where do you need a couple laps to really kind of like, okay, I need to do it this way, or like again, like Cliff was saying, like this is kind of one of your stronger suits, even if you will, which I'm going to say, I mean, you were top 3 pretty much all night long. So I think you were in the running regardless. But I mean, is that one of those things where it's like you know pretty quick, it's like, okay, I got to save, I got to clutch, and then you kind of just go straight to it, or does it take you a lap or two to really kind of nail the clutch points in this thing?
I'm usually the first lap. I'm pretty conservative with it. Just because you never know unless you drive these tracks every week, which I only race leagues, so I don't really do that much. So yeah, you gotta know how the car is gonna react, and then also how the car is gonna react when you let go of the clutch, because it the engine kicking on does turn the car a little bit, so it actually helps a little bit, but I mean, there's no braking at this track. It's all just letting the car coast, at least in the trucks. So again, like whatever your normal let off and coast point was just throwing in clutch instead. So it just helps save that little bit extra.
Okay, yeah. See, I just assumed that you guys are be kind of sending it in there, and then kind of get the break to get it settled, and then go from there. And obviously, Dover's its own animal with the way you drop in the turns and bounce out of it. And like you said, yeah, especially with if you're releasing, depending where you release the clutch, that's obviously a really scary spot too. But I mean, again, just really, really great job. Like I said, I mean, 4 races, hit all 3 spots of the podium right off the bat. So I say you've kind of covered all that now. So we'll see what you can. I say these guys are going to hope that you can kind of stay out of those top 3 spots. I have a feeling on the championship side of things. But yeah, I mean, a great drive, like I said, all the way through. I won't say I'm rooting for you because I love the paint scheme. I know DG. I can see the sponsorship on the back there. It's always been one of my favorite cars. So well done on the paint scheme there, DG. But I definitely, I'll say, lead you into that. I say definitely want to give you the floor though for any thanks and shouts for that win this evening.
Thanks for the league, for everyone who puts it on here. I'm grateful to you broadcasting it and giving us the space to show what we can do, and Swiss for my paints. I got the whole Days of Thunder fleet being made. Should probably have a new one next week, I imagine. I want to take a moment and thank Cliff's wife and children as well. They're big fans. They got my poster on their wall. So yeah, pretty much it.
Great job again, man. Go enjoy this one, and I'll say next time get a win on the non-fuel match thing, so they can't use that one against you.
I've beat them enough in other leagues. It's fine.
Great job, Bill. Congrats, man.
Thanks. See ya.
That's our race winner in the 0-1, Bill Rivard, getting the win in his Hardee's Ram. And so, yeah, again, a great drive. Him, like I mentioned, I mean, top 3 pretty much all night long. We saw he had the pace. And so then, like I said, just the timing of the caution, just threw it into a potential fuel window, and some either just knew they couldn't make it or maybe just a little bit too late to try to save. And that's the thing, is you just don't know when these yellows could fall. It could change the outcome of these races and the strategy. And that's just how it is in racing. Sometimes the calls go your right way. The luck goes your way. Unfortunately, like we mentioned for Ethan Evers, Alec Correa did not go the way they were hoping for. So they'll definitely be not thrilled about the result. But I mean, again, you saw the pace they have. They're going to be okay for future races, having chance at these things. So I do want to thank everybody that watches and supports us here at Green White Checker TV. Again, if you're watching your friends, your family, anybody, feel free to pop in the chat. Like I said, if you want to say, hey, where's my friend, my family member, whoever, what are they up to, where are they at, let me know. That's what we're here for. We want to kind of give you the best show we can. So hope everybody enjoyed it here tonight. We'll be back again on Sunday evening for the Super Speedway side of things, so definitely check that one out as well. Until next time, though, as always, take care, stay safe, have a good night.